West Covina City Council meeting of February 1st, 2011. I'll call to order. We'll begin with our invocation. Is Pastor Steve Ishiru from Faith Community Church. Please come forward. Please rise and we'll have our invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much that we get to gather here together tonight with the City Council and with the people of West Covina. And we pray, Father, as we have these proceedings here tonight where we get to recognize and celebrate the accomplishments of so many within our city, and then also take care of some items for business. We pray, Father, that you would give us, as the people of West Covina, a spirit of just honoring those who you've placed in leadership over us. And we also pray, God, that for those who are leading us, God, with the mayor, mayor pro tem, all the council members, and those who are part of the government here in West Covina, that, God, you would give them wisdom, Lord, in making decisions. We pray, Father, for a powerful and effective meeting here tonight. Give us a good, productive meeting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Councilwoman Harvey. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk, roll call.
Mayor Chairman Herford.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chairman Toohey.
Here.
Councilmember Commissioner Armbruster. Here. Councilmember Commissioner Lane. Here. Councilmember Commissioner Sanderson. Here.
Thank you. We have a report out from closed session. City Attorney.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have some items to report out from closed session. First, I do have to report the closed session discussion from the meeting, special City Council meeting of Wednesday, January 26, 2011. The record should reflect that the City Council did meet for that special meeting as listed on the special City Council meeting agenda. All members of the council were present at that meeting with the exception of Councilmember Sanderson to consider the item as listed on the agenda, that being conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6 with the various employee organizations as listed on the agenda. The record should reflect that there was a presentation provided by staff at the meeting. However, no final action was taken, and I have nothing further to report on that item. With respect to the closed session meeting today, the record should reflect that the City Council did convene to consider the closed session items as posted on the agenda. In regard to the first item, that being conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6, the record should reflect that all council members were present at that discussion. There was a presentation provided by staff. There was no final action taken. I have nothing further to report on that item. With respect to the second item, that being item number 2, conference with real property negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8. Record should reflect that all members of the CDC Governing Board were present with the exception of Board Member Sanderson. There was a presentation provided by staff. Direction was given to staff. However, no final action was taken on that item, and I have nothing further to report. With respect to item number 3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9c. All council members were present for that item, with the exception of Councilmember Sanderson. There was a report provided by staff. There was direction given to staff. However, no final action was taken on that item, and I have nothing further to report. Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report out from closed session.
Thank you. City Manager, any changes to the agenda?
I have no changes to the agenda, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. This time we'll start our presentation. We have some retirements to announce tonight. I'd like to first have the Chief of Police, West Covina, Chief Frank Wills. Please come forward. On behalf of the City Council, first off, let me say that we did have some problems with our sound system tonight, so if we cut in and out or we lose it, understand city staff worked all day and it looks like it's working fine now. But on behalf of the City Council, all of our retirees tonight, we want to thank them for their service to their community. Public service is one of the greatest honors that you can give to your fellow man, and everybody who is retiring tonight, we're delighted that you're retiring. We thank you for your service. and the chief is going to tell us a little bit about the 2 police employees.
The mayor and I have the honor tonight, along with City Council, to recognize 2 retiring police employees. And the first individual I'd like to call down is Detective Scott Fahey. Scott, if you could come down. Scott is retiring after 29 years of service to the city and service to the department, and a great officer and a great human being. I remember when I was new to the city, Scott was one of about 9 people on a promotional eligibility list. And the way we do that, it's a somewhat a participatory process, and we get all the managers in the room there, all the supervisors in the department, and we couldn't decide on who to promote, because promotion sometimes it leads to higher things, and we said, well, do you want a budget guy? Do you want a PR guy? Somebody that gives a great speech to Rotary, somebody that knows personnel law, and nobody could decide, and made the comment that, how about we just promote the best cop in the bunch? And every hand went up, and it was unanimous. Well, Scott Fahey's the guy then, Chief, and it made us a real easy decision for us. And some of you remember the character played by Mel Gibson in the Lethal Weapon series. This is the closest guy to the Mel Gibson character you're ever going to want to meet. I mean, he's done everything in the department. We don't have time to go over all his accomplishments. 7 years as a canine handler. He saved the life of a drowning infant earlier in his career. He's got numerous commendations. He's famous internally for always being at the right place at the right time and making an arrest. I mean, when we needed a manhunter, somebody to go out and catch a bad guy, Scott was the guy we called. For an unprecedented 13 straight years, he won the California Highway Patrol Award for making GTA Grand Theft Auto arrests. So he's done it all, a fantastic cop, and in an era where it seems like public servants are more and more criticized for leaning on their shovels and spending time at the water cooler, this guy was a workaholic. Evening, weekends, he devoted all his waking hours to working at 100% speed to try and protect this community, and just a marvelous, marvelous human being, and sorely missed by the department. And I think we have some plaques for him to give him. And we'll give the mic to you, Scott.
On behalf of the City Council, there's a plaque for your 29 years of service, Scott. This one is from the Police Department in recognition of the 29 years of service. And then we have the city tile. That's all on your wall. That's the city tile. So we'll like to have you say a few words.
First of all, thank my wife for putting up with me the last couple of years. It was Wendy, who's up there hiding. She works for Orange Fire, and I thank all the citizens and the city and the city council. Go back a long time with some of you guys, being on the board of directors for many years. But if I had to do it all over, I'd do it the same way. Truly, God's blessed me with a great bunch of people to work with, and great family, great friends, and like I said, if I had to do it all over again, I'd want to do it the same way. And thank you very much. And you guys got a great police and fire department. Thank you.
That's a famous style, Scott.
And where's Willie Vogel? Willie, right in front. Yeah, I know it's untied. I'm going to leave it for now. You know, most of you know, I think, that we have a great volunteer program in the city called SHOP, and we don't always recognize outgoing SHOP members. We should have, but we're making an exception in this case. Willie Vogel is just, he has been a dynamo. For a full-time employee, if you're paid, you work 2,000 hours a year, 2080. All right. He's devoted almost 10,000 hours to the city. That's 5 years of full-time work without ever getting a nickel for it. And it's not make work. It's a job that if he wasn't doing, a police officer or a civilian community service officer would have to do at taxpayer expense. He's worked hard. He was the 2010 SHOP Officer of the Year. In about 2004, 2005, I can't remember, he was the West Covina City Volunteer of the Year. He's an effervescent personality like Scott. He works hard. And he's just one of those personalities that are irreplaceable. We got great people. You know, there's 200 people in the police department. They're all wonderful, but there's some personalities that you just miss when they're gone. And when he walks into a room, he lit things up. You always knew he was there, and things always kind of went down after he left. So you're going to be really missed, Willie. We wish you Godspeed and continued good health, and the program and the department are going to miss you.
Good at making speeches, but I'd like to thank everybody in the police department for all their efforts, and I want to thank all the people from my church that are here tonight to see me get this award. So thank you all. Good night.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Chief. We have two fire retirements. Our Fire Chief, Paul Segala.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I begin, I would actually like to congratulate Detective Fahey and just let him know God's truly blessed my life by having you a part of it. So thank you for that. And I just wanted to mention that in December we had 4 retirements from the fire department, 2 captains who were unable to join us tonight, and 2 fire engineers, and totaling 121 years of service between those 4 people. So the first person I would like to honor this evening is Engineer Larry Thomas, who's in the front row, but I hardly recognize him from the last time that I saw him. He looks just a little bit different than our normal uniformed people. As I mentioned, Larry was a fire engineer in our department, which is the person responsible for the fire apparatus, either the ladder truck or the fire engine. Took that job extremely seriously. He was always a dedicated, very loyal employee, and took that job of getting the fire engine to these incidents very safely and secure. And he also served during his 33 years of service as the department historian, and has helped chronicle the entire department history from the time of its inception. So for that, we can't thank you enough. And I just wanted to congratulate you on behalf of the department. Thank you for all your years of service. And if you need a razor, Juanita, I know where to get one.
there's a proclamation, a resolution from the city and our city tile. We're honored to give you. Thank you, Larry, for your service to the community. We have a terrific fire department, and you're an asset that will be hard to replace. But we thank you for all your years of service on behalf of the City Council. I know we're honored to have you with us, and enjoy your retirement. Okay. And
thank my family, Juanita, Jarrett, and Wyatt over there. And I want to thank the council people. Thank you for letting me work all these years here. I enjoyed the city, and I enjoyed working here. Thank you.
okay. Thank you.
And the other fire engineer that we're going to honor this evening for his 30 years of service is Dennis Mitchell. Dennis is one of those people that's truly somebody that you just kind of want to be close to, but then once he starts talking, you kind of want to get away really quick. He's never had a shortage of advice or ideas. He's a big concept guy, but also one of those very serious fire engineers that took his job extremely seriously. Very safe driver, and took the care and maintenance of that fire engine really to his heart. So we would like to just honor him for that. The other thing I would like to mention is Dennis was somewhat of a prankster on the department, and the one thing I could pretty much count on was any time that I went on vacation, when I came back to my office, one of my family photos would be replaced with one of Dennis. And as you might guess, there's still 2 of those in my office today. I'm sure.
Dennis, there's a resolution from the City Council and a city tile for your, again, I guess.
Thank you.
Let me just say, we as council members see employees in the line of work all the time, but we also see well, it is part of their work. They're at the grocery store. So we're out there shopping, and Dennis and I have run into each other numerous times at Stater Brothers and had some really good conversations, and we're going to miss you. You're one of the great guys in our department, and congratulations on your retirement on behalf of the entire City Council. Like I say, you will be missed, so thank you for your service.
Thank you. I want to thank my wife for putting up with me. Now she has to put up with me more. I want to thank the staff, fire department staff. They're really great. The council, too. I had a lot of fun with you guys when we do stuff and that. And the police department. They're fun, too, They come by and give us donuts, coffee. They're leftovers. And the citizens. It was great working here. And thank you very much.
And then thank you. And then the other 2, were you going to announce them? Okay. Fire Captain Gary Slicker is retiring after 28 years of service, and Fire Captain Ken Gamble is retiring after 30 years of service. So we thank them for their service to our community. Thanks.
Have a good one, Larry. Lenore, we're sorry.
I think that's all. We don't have to do anything in open session.
After oral. What? Quite a few. How many cards left?
Okay, the next order of business on City Council agenda is the oral communications portion. And our first speaker tonight is Frederick Sykes. If we could have you kind of keep it down, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Herford, Mayor Pro Tem Tui, Council Members Lane, Sanderson, and Armbrust, city staff, and members of the audience. I wish I could say this is an olive branch, but it's not. First of all, it's not even real. It's synthetic. It's man-made. The last council meeting, I spoke to you about a cell phone tower that's in Shadow Oak Park, and it's near the tennis courts. And I talked about how it needs to be refurbished. So I'm going to ask again, please, if you could have the staff, whoever oversees the contract, to please come out and take a look at the tree, or should I say the rocket ship that they're trying to have it symbolize a tree. We could pass this around, please. Those items can be found for yards around that cell tower on the ground. And on the south side of the tower, it looks quite bare. You can see the infrastructure very clear. So whoever owns that tower is not maintaining it properly.
We'll make sure we get a hold of it.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now that we've talked about the eyesore, I'm also asking again that we delay the adoption of your code, because we can do better. You folks are extremely intelligent. One of them has scientists attached to his name. So when I'm asking about a moratorium for scientific input, I think you know what I'm talking about. And I'm also asking for engineers. If we could just delay and get some input from the scientists and from the engineers on the latest technology for the cell towers, where they can be placed, so we can limit the defacing of the city and the detraction of property values. Because if we don't approach this from a comprehensive perspective, we're definitely going to have a city that's going to look pretty hideous, like that tower does over the tennis courts in Shadow Oak Park. And now we get to the initiatives on the hillside. I think it's a beautiful idea, absolutely beautiful. But there's a problem right now, timing. Timing is very important. You know, in love, in life, and death, a lot of these things, there's a time and place for everything. And right now it seems that perhaps our priorities are a little bit out of order, because I can think of some other things that we could be taking care of that are in dire straits. And there's also the appearance that our leadership is giving off with this, seems to be an appearance that's a lack of empathy. I mean, when all around us we have this serious pain brought upon us by the economic downfall. And then, of course, when you look at the city itself, the budget, we have a deficit that's been disclosed by Mr. Bachman of $3 million, and it's growing. We also have the matter of L.A. County demanding, just recently, $10 million. So the timing is absolutely awful with this situation we have. Unemployment somewhere in our community, 9 to 12%. We have a number of home foreclosures. As I walk around my community, I know I see homes that are shuttered and empty, and it's frightening. We have businesses. I mean, it's been in the paper, and you walk around to all our various small malls and even the mall, the main mall itself, West Covina Plaza, we have some empty space that needs to be filled. So we have some growing blight that we definitely need to take care of before we start addressing that sign, I would think. There's also, we discontinued the financial assistance to the chamber, and then now we no longer have a Chamber of Commerce.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, Speaker, see there 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I think you get the gist of where we are. Let's please take a focus at our priorities, and thank you.
Thank you. I want to just comment on that issue. It's later on the agenda, but the idea is to not use city funds. No taxpayer dollars would be spent. It would be a volunteer committee, basically outside of the city purview, that would basically ask the city to provide a piece of land, so there wouldn't be any really cost. It would be a hillside piece of land. So if there was a EIR or anything like that to be done, it would be at the expense of the people doing the sign. But my idea was totally self-funded, volunteer funds, and would not be city money. So I think you would agree that that would be okay. Would that not be all right?
Well, you've already used funding for tax dollars. Just put it on the agenda.
Well, you just used 5 minutes too, so I mean we're kind of spitting into the wind here, but the intent is not to use tax dollars. Okay, thank you. Herb Redholz.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Last Tuesday night, I had the opportunity and the pleasure is an unusual word for this, but to participate in the city with the L.A. County count of the homeless that are in West Covina. I just wanted to take a moment to compliment our Community Services Director, Michelle McNeil, and her staff for coordinating that and handling that so well. And I want to thank the members of the council that participated, volunteered their time, along with my fellow commissioners, my fellow barn boys, and residents of the city that took time out of their Tuesday evening to participate in something that is positive and helpful to the city and potentially to the people that we were counting. The thing that disappointed me that evening was the fact that the individuals who regularly appear at this microphone expressing concerned citizens for West Covina had an opportunity to do something positive, and many of them are here tonight, not one of them showed up. That's kind of discouraging to me. This was an opportunity to participate in a positive activity, and none of them were there. So that concerns me. And as it relates to the mayor's proposal for the the WC on the hillside, to me, I don't know, maybe I'm a cockeyed optimist, but that appears to me to be a feel-good project that can bring a community together when things are a little bit rough. I mean, unfortunately, Mr. Sykes, who is identified in the paper as a community activist, to me, he's a community instigator. I mean, I'm sorry, but the facts never seem to get in his way. I mean, it's plainly spelled out that there's no money. The city is not going to be spending any money. It's a volunteer effort. The materials, the time is all going to be volunteer. It's going to bring people together. It's a positive activity. Like I say, it's feel good. But again, you got to look for the negative. You got to look for the down. You got to bring people down.
we don't want to be down. We want to be up. There's a lot of positive things going on in the city. We have to look at that. I think the mayor's proposal deserves merit. It deserves attention. It ain't going to cost no money. It's going to bring people together. It's going to be fun. It's going to look good. Nothing wrong with that. I say go for it. And this negativity has got to stop. Sure, there's issues. We can deal with them, but there's a lot of good things going on here. We got to focus on those too. Thank you.
Thank you. Royal Brown.
Royal Brown, coming before the council tonight in response to Jerry Brown's request last night concerning redevelopment. I don't know if any of you heard his presentation to the public in his State of the State address, but he called upon all the cities of California to present ideas to him. That's why I'm here tonight. The city of West Covina has had a series of redevelopment projects, and one of them is a disaster. It's called the Lakes Program. Nearly 100 businesses were put out of business as a result of that, and we see now the property is mainly vacant, a disaster area. We have other projects in the city that are a success, like the Heights, the latest one down in the south end of the town, and it's doing very well. And our two big shopping centers, the owners are spending beaucoup money and improving them. They're viable. However, the Lakes project is sick. And the idea is that the governor wants identification of things like that where the city can make an offer. And that's why I'm here tonight. I think it would be wise for the city of West Covina to offer the lakes to the state of California as a bribe so that we continue the benefits from our other developments. The governor could well provide the leadership for creating projects of a new regional nature. And I heard the suggestion tonight made by one of the other attendees here tonight that the Lakes Project area be demolished, and that the governor could well make a regional convention center out of that for this valley. That's the type of thinking that you should consider. Give this to the state with a request that it be made something that the valley doesn't have. Yes, the City of Industry tried it and failed with their resort center. It was centered upon a hotel and a golf course. That's not what I'm talking about. A true convention center to bring people in for technical meetings, business meetings, this type of thing. There's long been a shortage of good meeting rooms for various different size organizations. I was downtown Los Angeles last week on a thing related to reapportionment for the state of California and what's facing a lot of special districts, school districts, county, things like that, instructing the public how to be involved. That's going to be a major effort in the next 6 months, how California reapportions with the new commission and how the new data that will be presented will affect all these other elected bodies that reapportion every year, every 10 years. But where was that? That was at a health convention center downtown next door to the old post office, right down from Union Station, right on Alameda. Has about 17 different size meeting rooms. And this was a meeting to get the public familiar with the people that have been appointed by the to the commission from Los Angeles County. Several hundred people were in attendance, using a half dozen different rooms for breakout sessions and like that. That's the type of thing the city of West Covina and San Gabriel Valley and the surrounding area needs here in this community or in this valley. So it would be something that would allow us, if we get the governor to go along, then the legislature to go along, to continue to have the success and the income that we have from our other redevelopment projects. Otherwise, the legislature and the governor are free to confiscate because you are a subdivision of the state of California and totally subject to the rules of the legislature. They pass the laws, and so they can do what they want to redevelopment. Redevelopment was created by their laws, denying a lot of taxes to the school districts, special districts.
Mr. Mayor,
other
Speaker,
things
see to their
like
5
that.
minutes. Thank you.
So I would urge you to take up this idea with the governor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Tui.
The concern I have with that, Royal, first of all, we don't own the property in the Lakes area, so if we're going to offer someone else's property for the governor to take, that's ludicrous. That's like offering your condo to the governor for them to take what they want to do with it. It's around $150 million to acquire the property, which is owned by private individuals. They have to be compensated. It's not our property, so that's number one. Number two, this so everyone knows, most convention centers across the United States are subsidized and they lose money. In every major metropolitan area, the city of Los Angeles is currently considering leveling part of their convention center to build a football stadium. The debt on the portion they're leveling is $444 million. That would be wiped off the map. That's an improvement that they paid for, they owe for, and will be leveled. The Ontario Convention Center, the Pasadena Convention Center, and the Los Angeles Convention Center all bleed red ink. And I don't think we need to build something else in our city that will just bleed red ink. And second of all, this taking something from private ownership to public ownership, to me, that way without compensation, because I never heard that, the city was to turn it over to the state, seems more like communism, that you would take someone's private property without compensation. And I never heard the compensation portion mentioned. I would be fighting it all the way. I'm appalled at the idea.
Okay, thank you. Glenn Kennedy.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I had a lot to say, but I think I'll save it for another time. First things first, congratulations, Karen. And on this project on the hillside, I think it's a fantastic idea. I love it. I want to be the first one to volunteer. So if you approve it, by all means, please call me. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. John Shoemaker.
Good evening. Actually, I'm here to, on behalf of the school that my grandson goes to. On March 3rd, 2011, they're having Literacy Day. And I've been asked to give all the members of the council a little letter that basically gives some times that they would like you to come by, if possible, volunteer for 1, 2, 3, or 5 sessions. It's basically over a couple-hour period where you would read to the various students. And the biggest thing that they want are different people to explain to students why it's so important to read. You know, an example, the mayor, you know, and why, you know, it's important that the mayor can read, or you have your own businesses, whatever the case may be. If I can.
What's the school, John?
Vine Elementary.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Vine Elementary. And, you know, anybody else who's here, you know, I can get you the numbers and things like that. They would like, you know, a big cross-section of people to be there. And if you can only donate 20 minutes of time, that's 20 minutes of time that they would definitely be most appreciative of. And it would give the children, you know, all the way from kindergarten to 5th grade, you know, an opportunity to meet and see that why it is so important for them to learn how to read, you know, in the different jobs that they have. Even my grandson one day was kind of laughing about, well, I want to be a fireman. Why do I need to read? You know, till a fireman explained to him all the different things that they have to do, you know, as part of that job. And he goes, oh, well, then I guess I better learn how to read. And he's just, you know, even as a 5-year-old, grabbing books and trying to read them, you know, so you could make a major impact. And that goes for everybody in this room, you know, retired or regardless of what your job is or was, it would make a big impact, you know, on the children. And, you know, that you took the time to do it will also show that you feel it's very important for them. So, you know, if you get the chance, it's March 3rd, it's Vine Elementary. It's basically in the morning. They will have some food there too, you know, so you don't have to.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
I didn't look at you. I looked away. They'll have snacks and stuff there for everybody, but anybody who couldn't come out and help for just a little while. I know with, you know, tight budgets and things like that, it might be hard for staff, but if you can release somebody for, you know, just one time to go over there, it would benefit, you know, these kids to a great extent. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sue, would you have Nancy give us all a call and check our schedules? Okay, thank you. Irene Fleck? Hi.
Just wanted to let you know the library is off and running with this new year. Lots of programs and lots of participants. And just 3 highlights coming up in February. The first thing is our 5-week series of play and work parent-child workshops starts this next Thursday, February 10th, a week from that. And that's a super, super program for parents and kids. The second thing is the second Saturday is February 12th at 2. And this is something, it's called Mendi, and it's Indian artwork and painting the body. And this is going to be at 2 o'clock, and it's for adults and teens. And the thing that's really interesting about it, I think, is it's going to be audience participation. They're going to have volunteers from the attendees to have this done. So I'm really anxious to see what kind of results they're going to get with that. It's kind of exciting. And then the third thing is Tony Daniels is a magician, and he's coming on Saturday, February 19th. And this is great because he's very funny and everyone loves him. And this is for adults and kids. And then that's at 2 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock, kids 8 and up get to stay, and he's going to teach them some magic tricks. So it just can't miss. It's going to be fun. So if you have time, come on over.
Thank you, Irene. Sounds good. Alfred Williams?
Good evening, Mayor Herford, Mr. Chui, Mr. Ambrose, Ms. Lang, Ms. Anderson. I guess I'm up here again with my favorite subject, and that's bringing back the television and internet access. We seem to have, and everybody is very enthused about putting up initials on the hillside. I wish they had that same enthusiasm about getting our internet access and television back on. I've also had someone call me and says, how do I look at this darn thing, at the SIRES, the better than nothing system? It seems that even I, and I consider myself pretty good computer literate, have trouble trying to get into this system. It takes you to links that you don't want to go to. If you move the cursor in the wrong place, it's a very sloppy system. But as we say, it's better than nothing. But I would also like to ask this council to provide to the citizens the cost of implementing the SIRES system, the cost to operate it, since it's been in operation now for about 3 or 4 months, I think, the cost of all the staff people it took to get this thing running, and the cost to maintain it as projected for the next year. And since this system is quite difficult to use, I don't think very many people, especially the elderly who probably would want to do this the most, I don't think most of them can even get into it. It's not, as I say, very user-friendly. So I think we need to find some way of improving how we get into this system so that people can use it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
George Ogden?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, staff. At a joint planning commission meeting last week, the commission was discussing some improvements for Maverick Field, and that's all that was basically going on. However, members in the audience had came forward and they had made comments that the commission was planning to vote to spend money, which was not the fact. And the gentleman over here was just saying, are we not on the internet now being broadcast?
We are on the internet.
Okay, that's one of the reasons that I'd like to be up here, and hopefully that you might be able to respond after I leave here. But I was kind of disappointed at these kind of mistruths that go out there, and to me they almost seem like they're lies and people being set up to come forward to these meetings and taking up our time and costing us actually money, trying to explain away the fact that this is not the fact. The fact is that they were looking at a plan to approve this particular plan, that if funds were ever granted through whatever funds that might come available, then this possibly might happen with Maverick Field. And when I hear this stuff, it disturbs me. I've heard it over and over again over the last few years, and we're a better city than that to have people come forward like this and to lead people to misbelieve things that are not true. And the same token, a few weeks ago, or a few meetings ago, there had been some letters that had passed around indicating that our city council, which again was not true, is being investigated by the DA. And Lane, I believe that you had requested that the city staff contact the DA and see what we could do about this. And I'd like to have an update on that if that's possible. And I just need to know where these people are getting these false allegations and stuff like this and coming forward and wasting our time, and which cost us money, with this false allegation, the DA investigating you folks. And the third topic is, before I volunteer with Kennedy here on putting the letters up on the hill, I'd really like to know how far up that hill this thing's going to be before I start climbing it. So thanks a lot for that thought there. I think it's really great idea, and I concur with many of the other people that this would be something good for the city, because we know where Azus is at by just looking at the hillside over there. So anyway, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, George. Can we, I don't know if we have the information tonight on that DA issue, but if we could get that, that'd be great. Okay, that concludes oral communications. Anybody, any comments? Okay. Move on to the consent. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll be
Councilmember Two.
very brief. I just wanted to respond to some comments you said, Fred. I understand your point that there are some other worthwhile causes. I didn't hear you state which they were, and I assume you would be volunteering to run those other worthwhile causes. You had some suggestions on. You didn't state what they were, but you did state that there's some other worthwhile causes in your speech instead of doing the initials on the hill. And I always support residents coming up with their own thing, and whatever you'd like to do and volunteer for, I fully would encourage people to do, number one. Number two, I understand they mentioned unemployment in your speech, and I want to say some of my friends who are unemployed also have a matter of what they are struggling with is self-worth, and some of them would like to volunteer and to do some of that stuff and stay busy and to re-energize or rebuild their self-esteem. So even though it may not be in a pay status, just to sit at home sometimes when you don't have a job, that cannot be a great environment to be into. So sometimes if you have something, and we just recognize some people that no different, but in reverse, even though Willie Vogel's not laid off or anything like that, he's just a senior at home. This helped him many years. Him and his wife, Lenore, would tell you. Him being active like that, it was positive, a positive attribute for him, both giving the time and the city receiving the time. So I think there's a lot of ways people can all volunteer, and I don't think this because you may not agree with that particular program. There's so many programs, and apparently you have some in your own mind also that are worthwhile for the people that are involved in them individually, and everyone's going to have different tastes, different likenesses. And I'm saying this today, walking down here, we have someone like Lloyd Johnson, who's a retired steel worker, who's willing to do whatever welding we need to help keep him busy. And it's no different. It's part what he can contribute, and everyone will contribute differently. So I'm not against, I don't want to kill someone coming up with an idea and say this because we have this, we shouldn't do the idea. These same people also came up with the idea to do the Veterans Wall, and a lot of people, that's going to be a private donor situation. A lot of people have stepped up to donate their time, resources, and money to help get that accomplished, and I think you first need those on the board, and there's many other places to help out. Like I said, Beverly and Irene will do it at the library, or February 10th at West Covina Beautiful, but everyone gives, like I said last meeting, in different ways, and I don't want to say one's more important than the other. That's what's important to that person, and I'm willing to support volunteer efforts that do not take taxpayers' dollars and to use some of the resources we have. We have some quality people that are not working right now that need to stay busy, and I want to encourage that and stimulate the fire underneath those individuals, that they are worthwhile, and hopefully we can get them back to work.
Councilwoman Sanderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to briefly say and remind the public, based on a comment that was made about cable TV, that we did have a donation process. I don't know if you recall, where there was discussion maybe about a year ago in reference to saying that there was this name or this person that was going to donate money to do the cable, and it didn't ever come to fruition. We went through a big lengthy process. It was at several council meetings. So I just wanted to make sure that we do try and do things, you know, through volunteers, and sometimes it doesn't work out. So I just wanted to make a point of that, you know, that we did do that for the cable at one point. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes oral communications and the comments. We have the consent calendar. Is there any items the council would like pulled from the consent calendar?
I will just need to abstain on item number 4 while we're doing the consent calendar, due to my family having a wireless communication on our family property since 1991, and this could affect my family's holdings, so I will abstain on that one, but I will make a motion to approve all the rest.
I'll second.
We can have the record just reflect the abstention.
Okay,
Right.
we have a motion by Toohey, second by Sanderson on the consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0-1 on the item on the cell tower, and then all the rest are 5-0. So, AB 1234 reports. We have a motion to receive and file that.
I make a motion to receive and file.
I'll second.
Moved in second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion's 5-0. City Council Community Development Commission request, report, studies, or investigation. As I stated earlier, this is an idea. It's not a done deal that this is something that the city can do, but you know, I do think that there were some comments that were made by Councilmember Toohey, and I've always felt West Covina, you know, we need this hometown feeling, and you know, you see Azusa's got a big A on the mountain, and you see Dwardy, and it's just a recognizable point. I wouldn't do this if it took taxpayers' dollars. I wouldn't do this if I couldn't volunteer to do it. I think it'd be a fun project. You know, I've been up to the top of the mountain there at BKK, and you know, it's not going to be an easy task, but I think it's something that it would be fun to get our arms around, and I'd like to have West Covina Beautiful involved. I know, Irene, you could probably mention it to them. I think it would be something that would put a kind of a designation on our city. With Covina, sometimes people don't recognize West Covina. I just think it's something, you know, we are the gem of the San Gabriel Valley, and we need to identify ourselves, and we need to take pride in our community, and I think this is something that can add to that. So I always tell people, you know, we live in one of the greatest cities in Southern California, but sometimes negativity can pervade the community and destroy it, and I want to keep things as positive as we can. So any other comments? Councilwoman Sanderson?
If that's a motion, I'd like to second that motion. I think for it to come back for further discussion, I think it's a great idea. And that was one of the comments that I did write when the discussion was being made, that I think doing something positive right now is always a good move. I mean, you know, we're all going through problems in our lives, and sometimes when you just sit down with family and friends, even though things are bad, and say, hey, let's get together and do something together for the positive. I think it's a great idea. I think it would be really great, and so I'd love to second the motion.
Okay, thank you. I'll make the motion. You second. Councilwoman Lane?
Yeah, I just want to thank the mayor for bringing this idea forward. This is something that's private funding and uses volunteerism. I think this will provide a lot of pride in our community. I'm proud to live in West Covina, and it puts us with a logo up on a hillside, and it also correlates with our 88th birthday celebration. So I think it's a great idea.
Good, thank you. Councilwoman Armbruster.
And I second that, or third that. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea to have the initials on the hillside. I think that'll just unite us instead of divide us. And again, it, like you were mentioning earlier, to have volunteerism, I think people will have something that they can work towards as a goal. And I think it'll be neat to see how many people that are out there willing to do this. And again, just bring us together. We're a large city, but we have that sense of community. Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Tui.
I concur with what everyone said, and especially with what George Ogden said. I'm definitely want to help out, but I'll be helping from the bottom of the hill. I can't climb the hill, so I'll be down there with soda, making hot dogs or something, but I'm not climbing no hill. So take a good picture for me. I appreciate that.
I'll be at the top.
I have to tell a story. When we did Big League Dreams, we shot a video from the top of the hill by the water towers up there, and Patty, I don't know if you remember Patty, our old video person, her and I went up there with a reporter one day, and she had all the camera equipment, and the reporter carried it up there. We got up to the top of the hill, and oh my gosh, she just started violently throwing up. It was such a rigorous climb. It was horrible, but hopefully we won't have those issues. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have a first, second, and a third here, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I lost my appetite now.
Any other comments from the council? Let me just say that a few of us participated in the homeless count the other night, and I want to thank staff for that effort. There were some unique things that were found out about our community that night, and we actually thought, when in our group we didn't find any homeless, but we actually thought we did. We saw a couple people pushing shopping carts, but they were emptying the trash. So we took the area from Nogales and Amar all the way over to I believe it was Merced and Azusa and Big League Dreams and all that, the shopping centers in between. But we didn't see anybody. But it was interesting, and the numbers. Obviously, you don't want to see anybody homeless, and there were homeless people in our community, and so they will be addressed by the county. So, Councilwoman Armbrust.
I just want to tell Director McNeil, thank you very much. You did such a wonderful job. There were so many people out there in the community that were out there counting, and we were wearing our T-shirts, and again, like what the mayor said, we don't want to see people homeless, but you know what? They count, and so we need to count too. So, again, it was just amazing. Seeing that community effort, seeing people that I haven't seen for a while, and then that group of, I can't remember who they were, in the blue T-shirts that came. There was probably about like 20 of them. Yes, so that was neat to see. So I just wanted to say again, thank you. You did a great job.
Yeah, and let's acknowledge our staff too participated.
Thank you.
City Manager Pazman and a few other employees. So thank you for that. Any adjournments? Okay, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Also move, and then he'll second.
Okay, so moved in second. All those in favor, say
And a fourth,
aye.
third.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
motion carries 5-0.